Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 104, streamed live on July 17th, 2021. My name is Dalton, and with his triumphant return, joining me this week is Florian.
Hello everyone.
Good video effect. No one saw that happening.
No one will see this on the audio cast, of course. So I just rotated into the picture to make it as a subtitle potential. I'm happy to be here. I just spontaneously jumped in today because I had a feeling that that would be a day for joining a Q&A. So here I am.
I'm happy you joined.
Things on me. Yeah.
Hey, if you want to see if your device is supported by Ubuntu Touch, you like what we're talking about, you can head over to devices.ubuntu-touch.io and see if your device is in the list. If your device isn't on the list, it's going to need a custom image made for it. That's a process we call porting. You can go to the porting documentation at docs.ubports.com/porting to learn more about that process.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Chat's looking pretty lively today. This should be fun. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to put them in chat. We'll bring them up later. But first, let's talk a little bit of news. So, headlining thing this week, Ubuntu Touch OTA 18 has been released with a huge change to Media Hub, basically a complete rewrite of it, the server component, which I announced with a lot of alliteration. And okay, a little behind the scenes here. Lionel B, who is currently listening to this and will be doing the notes, he's the one who does the notes that get put out on the blog for each of these, edits all of my blog posts that go up on the blog. And I have a very whimsical, like a little flighty writing style. It's very animated, and that tends to be not so understandable for non-native English speakers. So a lot of times I'll write something fun, and he'll go, "Dalton, that's stupid," and completely replace it. Which he's right. It is stupid. But this time, I wrote the announcement with a lot of alliteration because alliteration is always awesome. Understand? And I said, Lionel, don't touch my alliteration. And I got back to the room in the morning and I checked it, and he said, "I touched your alliteration." I was like, oh boy. So I opened up the document, and he added more. It was amazing. I loved it.
Thanks, Lionel.
So all of that
Great
alliteration
job.
that you read in the Media Hub part of the post, yeah, that was great. There's also a lot of performance increases in this update, mainly stemming from one thing, and that's wallpaper rendering. So it turns out that rendering the wallpaper was one of the more difficult things that we asked Lomiri to do. So we've reduced the size of the wallpaper that it needs to render, and all of a sudden things get a lot faster everywhere, basically. We also saved a lot of RAM, maybe 100 megs if you're on the E4.5, which is 10% of its RAM.
Yep, well, 10% of its RAM.
Pretty crazy when you think of it like that. But the results may vary depending on how large your device is in resolution and how large your wallpaper is in resolution. But yeah, that's a big improvement this time. Of course, no, this is not based on Ubuntu 20.04. We've had a lot of questions about that. But no, this update, Ubuntu Touch OTA 18, is still based on Ubuntu 16.04. But our work on Ubuntu 20.04 continues. And a lot of that work is, for some components, building the same component on Ubuntu 20.04 and 16.04. So when we fix something and make... when we fix something for 20.04, we also end up fixing it for 16.04. So a lot of times it's, well, we had to fix this thing anyway, so why don't we just backport 16.04? Which has been the result of a lot of behind-the-scenes changes that are improving performance and stability on 16.04 in ways that you may never see.
Yeah.
We've go.
No, it's just that's heavy lifting, and 2004 is really a challenge for everyone. But I think because we're doing this for the first time on that extent, we also learn a lot. We learn how to sketch or how to do our processes better around packaging and CI and all that. And there is a lot of things coming with it. So hopefully, when we do this again in 5 years or so, it will be much easier. Yeah?
A little less than that. Let's not miss the deadline next time.
Yes. For example, that was something that we kind of accounted in this time because we couldn't do it anyway faster than the deadline was coming. But we will strive to be on time next time. Yeah.
Right.
2204, 2404.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the two, probably. I would hope. There were some questions this week about the greeter as well. A redesign of the greeter that I was talking about in the last couple of Q&As when I was working with Capsia on an internship project. And whether that's going to...
What is the greeter actually? I mean, just for the listeners that don't know what we mean, it's always like terms like launcher, greeter, and that stuff. That's the greeter.
This is the greeter. It's the thing that takes your password.
Yep.
Yep. So this is not the redesigned one. I apologize. But the redesign is currently in review, and it is going to replace the current Lumire greeter. Now, for any touch devices, the only thing you're going to see are visual differences because they're all on single user mode. So there's all the multi-user changes that needed to be done. You won't be seeing those as much. There is on tablets, there's going to be a cover page now, which is, important if you throw your device in a bag and, there's stuff touching it and poking it, and sometimes it activates controls. That'll be good for you. So there will be a cover page on those devices. But yes, the new redesign is going to replace the current design. But what I wanted to show this time is a final change that Capsia made because, it was the last few days of his internship. He wanted to do something. And this is notch avoidance. Cheaply. So if you notice there, the screen is the same size between these two. But has notch says, put the screen down a little bit.
Oh, cool.
So we put a little bit of margin on top of the screen to avoid any notches. It's not a perfect solution, but it's better than having all of your indicators hidden by the V notch on the Volophone. So, I prefer it. It's still in review, so we're still looking at how to better implement it for devices and stuff. But you can see in all orientations, there's a black bar at the top of the screen, which is just going to show us basically nothing on an LCD.
Well, it's great. That's great. I mean, we can discuss further if that's the final solution for notches, but I think with the current design of our top bar, there is no other choice than just shifting it down a bit. And by that also, it will also avoid these two corners, the rounded corners that some devices have on the top. Yeah. And that looks much better for the watch, the clock on the upper right, that you don't trim it or just crop it too much there. There was one question in live chat if it will still have the pretty circle. So how's the new design?
Yeah, the new design will still have the pretty circle. It'll take me a little bit to check that out if we want to look at that now. So I would need you to talk for a bit. Sandy Martin says, you could say this is top notch.
Yeah, that's top notch.
And Amy asks, can you set the height somewhere in a config? It is device specific, so the device config will have that information in it. Florian, could you talk about teleports for a little bit while I check out the other copy and show you the...
Sure. So you might have noted that there was a teleport release right after my holiday, so I was fully motivated when coming back. I pushed a lot of contributors to finish their PRs so that we can finally release that. I think the most important change is the support for animated stickers. So there was a lot of arguing, of course, if that is really a very important change. But first of all, I must say, those animated stickers, if you cannot see them, it really takes a little bit out the fun of having a conversation that really goes stupid in a stupid way. So people start posting stickers and then other animated stickers and stuff. And if you just don't see this, you're just excluded from that communication. Yeah? So while it's not the most important feature for, I don't know, business or organizational things like administration of groups, or there are tons of features in Telegram that we still don't support. But it's something that at least gives us back some smiles in some way. And I thought that's a cool thing. A very, very big thanks to Michele. He worked on this for months because we basically had to import this very, very strange format that Telegram is using for these animations, which is called rLottie. So rLottie is a very new and very, very rarely used animation format because it's vector animations. It could have been done in a different way, of course. It's not animated GIFs, what you're seeing. So all those stickers are really made of vector animations and can scale. So that's why they look always sharp and crisp. It's a really nice thing. But for us, of course, it was a nightmare because we have to implement 3 different custom libraries that we have to ship, and they have to build in the CI and then into QML. And you will notice that the animation runs a little bit slower than on the official clients in some sticker packs, not all of them. And,
I was wondering about that.
Yes. We really don't know where this is coming from. We just use the code that Telegram is using themselves, basically. I really don't know. But let's see. Yeah, maybe that can be fixed in a later release, but for the first shot, it's already good. One thing that most of you won't see immediately, if you would connect the keyboard now, you can use the escape key to close chats. That's something for convergence. Yeah, convergence in teleports, unbelievable. Yeah, and there is also a bug fix inside. It should crash not so often anymore as it did before when you open it the first time or you switch to it when there is a lot of updates. So you have it, I don't know, one day in the background and then you just bring it into foreground again. And prominently it was like, if I have too many updates, I'm gonna crash. We found a bug in the handling for quotation, not for quotations, for forwarded messages that could lead to these problems. So if you were using a lot of forwarded messages or other people forwarded stuff in your groups, chats, channels, then this could have been a problem. And also empty groups and chats shouldn't happen anymore. That was also one of the symptoms of that forwarding bug. Was basically that, you couldn't see either the whole chat or if you click on the chat, it was empty. Then you would write a message, then you would see the new messages that would come, but the history was not there. What else? The pictures were not displayed immediately, so it would attach a new picture or somebody would send a picture. The preview, the thumbnail was just empty. You had to leave the chat, go back in again. That was very annoying also. And some people reported that they cannot get rid of the notification counter in the launcher because if you left the chat with unread messages, that would never update again because the chat was not in your chat list anymore. It was still summarizing everything, and you get this counter on the icon. So I think that was the most annoying thing for having that launcher open and you see 5,000 unread messages and you have 0. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
These are all things that I've hit, so you're saying very interesting things to me, Florian.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sounds like a really good update. So excellent
Yeah.
work to you and the entire Teleports community. I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right, yeah, well, we are also entirely excited. There is a new TD-lib already. We have to upgrade it soon. The changelog is again massive. Those Telegram guys seem to have, 100 people working on developing because every minor version has, 50 important changes. I'm really afraid of the next major version. Yeah, And I found an unhandled message on our side to show bank card information. I'm asking for someone who knows about how you can actually store bank card informations in Telegram. I don't know. I don't have an official client. If somebody knows about that, maybe it's related to paying or I don't know, store giving credit card informations to bots. Maybe that's possible. I don't know, but
Yeah. Interesting.
it's really it's amazing how they push on the speed and the velocity of Telegram, and we will never be able to handle everything right after them. But next Telegram upgrade is there, and I think we will call it 1.0 then. So one more version for fixing small things, and then let's make a big update so we can finally have teleports 1.0. That will be awesome.
Cool. I'm excited
Oh,
to
the
see
chat
it.
writes, Amy writes, it's for bots who use inline payments. Well, I never used a bot for inline payments. I wouldn't give money to a bot in Telegram. Maybe other people do. If anyone can send me a screenshot of how it should look like, then I can at least make the design for it.
Hopefully
So
that doesn't have your bank card information in it.
yeah. Give me all your bank card information. Oh,
Cool.
cool.
Geez, bugs that like that forwarding bug that you found that just bothers you for months and months, and finally you find it and it fixes so many things.
Yes.
That's exactly how
And
I felt this week with the PinePhone.
Yeah, and what we also fixed, just one more for the forwarding. I remember
Okay.
you don't have actually the empty selection list anymore. So you clicked on forward in teleports, and you couldn't select the target chat. That's also fixed. Yeah.
Okay.
Usable. So now do something else.
I was messing with the PinePhone this week, as you do when you want to punch yourself in the face or something. It's not their fault. It's our fault. But I finally got fed up with this issue where sometimes the modem on the PinePhone just decides that USB isn't cool anymore, and so it disconnects from it and reconnects. Now, this is handled in Modem Manager. It sets the modem back up. It's not handled in a phono. So, instead of doing the right thing and fixing a phono, because that's really hard and I don't know how to do it, and I hope we can find someone who does soon, hint anyone out there who knows how to patch a phono, I restarted a phono because, for science.
Have you tried restarting it?
Yeah, and a phono came back up. Like, it was just fine. It comes back up. It's like, hello, I'm here. I'm ready. You can do whatever you want. And then all the stuff that handles telephony and Ubuntu Touch, that means telephony, that handles phone calls and messages, is just like, you don't have a network anymore. What's a network? I don't see a network here. I've been dealing with this problem for months. And I finally looked at it again, and I developed an entirely different solution that allows us to set the name of the modems using the old plugin, because we switched to a new plugin that doesn't work quite right. So, I made this solution that you can configure the names of the modems and the accounts so that it could reconnect, because the old plugin reconnected correctly, the new one did not. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. There's this thing there's nothing in the old code that acted on this one signal from a phono, modem removed. But there is in the new code, and it acts on modem removed, and when the modem is removed, it disables the account. In theory, when the modem is added, it's supposed to re-enable the account, but for some reason that isn't working. So I thought, what if we just don't disable the account? And so now it's working. And now a phono restarts. It takes about 10 seconds, which is awful. I expect that you will still miss calls with this, but I don't expect that it will miss text messages, and if it restarts soon enough, it won't miss the calls either. So if you're just putting your PinePhone to sleep and waking it back up, you notice that the network indicator changes, but it comes back and everything starts working again. Again, I've been working on this for months. So the fact that the fix was I delete some code and it works. Obviously, the code actually needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
But
I would say so.
I've been working on this for months, so it was nice to have some headway.
Sure, great job.
All right,
And-
I promised you that I was going to show you the greeter redesign, so here it is. So the redesigned greeter has less use of boxes and more use of transparency. This is the tablet stage. I actually lied earlier, and the tablet single user mode looks basically like the old single user mode does. We can set to phone size, ignore that. Okay, there we go. And it looks like the phone size, and it's good. This one unfortunately doesn't have the rotatey bits, but, you know. Desktop size, looks like phone size. But if we add more users, yeah. Yeah, so
Cool.
that's the new
Very
redesigned greeter. Yes. So let's talk now a little bit about stuff coming down the pipe for 2004, why don't we? So Ubuntu 2004, here it is. Ubuntu Touch based on 2004, running on Surface Go. Don't ask how I did this. It's kind of complicated. It has a keyboard now. This is new in the past couple weeks.
And don't feel like those are the only apps you will get. You will get the usual apps on your phone. Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you can
just-
see this is really early stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's no indicators. There's no apps. You know, it's early stuff, but it is running. And it has a keyboard now, which brings us very close to being able to release this thing on...
on the bloody Edge channel.
Uh,
Which is even more Edge than Edge.
probably just the Xperia X at first. But you can also take Alfred's awesome new PDK image, the Platform Development Kit, which allows you to develop things for Ubuntu Touch, and there's a snap of it now, so you can install it from the Snap Store on the Edge channel and try it out. There's a lot to love here, and there's a lot to try out. I DD'd it to this SD card that's hanging out the side of this thing and booted it, is basically what I did, but, you know, your mileage may vary if you try that.
And it brings us a little bit closer to the thing that's where people say, is there an emulator for Ubuntu Touch? Well, that's not an emulator because we're not emulating anything. You don't need this bulky goldfish emulator that was in the old SDK where you could just start up Ubuntu Touch in a real weird slow way, and it would take 1 hour to actually go to the greeter, I think, or so, at least on my laptop. But instead of that, you just start up a container, and you can also, not now, but later, it would be entirely okay to say you can check out your apps with that and use it as
I forgot, it has ADB support now, so you can connect to ADB over TCP on it and run clickable.
Yeah.
Of course, there are no focal images for clickable yet, but you can do it. There's also Alfred. I'm throwing you under the bus. Alfred was working on generating images for the PinePhone. So there's still some problems there, mostly around its GPU support, but it's getting somewhere. The Open Store app now has support for the new Click service. The Click service is also new, and it allows you to install clicks as a regular user, which you used to be able to do with Package Kit, but Package Kit removed support for plugins, so we had to completely replace it. And now it's been replaced. The Open Store knows how to use it, and it works. Now, for the people asking, no, Ubuntu Touch based on 2004 probably will not be OTA 19, nor will it be OTA 20. There has been discussion on whether OTA 20 should be OTA, or should be the OTA that starts using 2004, because we are just going to, basically one day you're going to upgrade to a new OTA and it's going to be 2004. That's how it's going to work. But the problem with trying to hit an arbitrary number is there aren't many numbers until 20 left.
Well, we could call it OTA 19.4.5.
See, yeah, there's been a discussion about this on the forum.
19B. I'm creative. Come on. I mean,
I'm also worried if we should skip number 20, we should pull a Windows 10 and skip number 20. So people don't get confused. But
I mean, okay, there was one idea that I partially liked to say we should release OTA 20.1, for example, so everybody knows it's based on 2004. It's the first one of 2004, and when we switch again, then we have 22.1 and start again. So kind of a semantic versioning number thing around the OTA number.
But the numbers don't mean anything.
Yes. I mean, on one hand, okay, we could do it like this. We could also now stall the increase and say we are 19A, B, C, D, because the number doesn't mean anything to the system. Ubuntu Touch doesn't care. It's just our numbering that we are giving to you guys and say, okay, now that was 18, now comes 19. It could be anything. It could be also, I don't know, leopard, torches, and fish tank. Yeah, or like Android is doing some crazy names. I don't know, but yeah, if we want to slide in a certain numbering scheme, then of course, unfortunately, 20 sounds like it would make sense. If you look, say 21 is the first one with 2004. Yeah, I don't know. Write us in the
UBports
comments
Millennium Edition.
Yeah, Millennium. Write us in the forum or somewhere what you think about that, if it's important for you that OTA numbers are speaking numbers, or we can just increase it like mathematicians always like to do, just +1.
I just make the number go up. The server is happy when I do that.
Yeah. Servers are always happy with increasing numbers.
I do have a question for y'all this week, though. What should we do with the completely different subject? What should we do with the Q&A? We're looking at a lot of people have given suggestions on, hey, you should bring back talking about app updates. You should bring back this. You should get more people on. The thing is, I'm kind of strapped for time here, everyone. So if we want things like what's been going on in app development, what's new with Clickable in the open store, what's new apps are in the open store, I would like someone to be able to summarize that information so that I can present it. I've got a lot of stuff to do between, well, the PinePhone and releasing Ubuntu Touch and making sure that our development team is not blocked on anything, that it's kind of difficult for me to do really good planning for the show like I used to do. So if you want to see things like new apps or what's been going on in porting, whatever it may be, I need you to send me a summary of that. I will thank you, and I'll present it. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, I saw myself when I tried to rally together Alfred and Aaron for porting podcast, and we wanted to call this podcast, and we did, I think, 2 episodes. And then on the 3rd episode, we realized how much work it can be to, I don't know, every 2 weeks, summarize what's going on in porting. And that was before we had 50 devices in porting state and the porting channel exploding with 900 members.
Yeah, this podcasting thing is kind of a lot of work.
Yes, because you have to read all the week or even longer. You have to read that channel and make yourself some notes, or I don't know, or ask people around and say, okay, I have to ask this guy before in the next 3 days because then I need his answer already to this and this. So making that thing is really on top of the usual work that we're doing is really hard. Yeah. So unfortunately, the podcast has died for a long time. Maybe we'll bring it back now and then.
Long story short.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, it's a community project. If people would like to help out with Q&A, why not? Let's have them.
Sandy says, well, you could always have someone be on the stream who does app news. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd love to invite more people onto the stream. No problem.
Have Amy do the app news. Bring me in. It will be great entertainment. Trust me. Well, yeah.
Love to have you. After after a couple episodes, we can get you a mic and stuff. Just, yeah.
Yeah. Before you can just show text cards because we don't trust your mic, but that's okay.
That's a lie. But
I know.
yeah, I'm open to contributions here as much as anywhere else in the project.
Exactly. Our face is already that long on the screen, so we can have fresh faces also.
All right, so we are doing not so well on time, so why don't we go through... Speaking of thanking people, I was talking about thanking people a few minutes ago, but we can now thank our sponsors.
Yes.
So thank you to Smooze, Vala, and Pine64 for making it possible for us to make Ubuntu Touch, as well as our community sponsors, including Travis Mackmer, Amalith, Rask, Naris, Incensfell, Dan Trevino, Daniel Fransak, Robin Hood, Laszlo Tomas, Ian Locke, Max Fielder, A. Thiel, Casey Lambie, George Toma, Renat Mirkolev, Will Atwood, and Scott Marley. I apologize if you have joined us on Patreon and I haven't got your name in here yet. I am trying to get the new list here. If you want to see more of our sponsors, you can go to ubports.com/sponsors, or if you want to join them, you can over at ubports.com/donate. We have all sorts of options, including Patreon, Libra Pay, PayPal, and direct IBAN transactions if you're interested in that. We are a non-profit entity located seated in Germany. So in much of the EU, your donations are tax deductible. If you do them the right way, check with your local laws to make sure.
Yeah. And we can also give you a certificate for the donation. So basically there is a form especially needed in Germany to claim that from the tax authorities. Yeah, we have that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Why don't we move on to some questions then? We take these questions from our forum over at forums.ubports.com. On the Tuesday before the event, most of the time, we put the thread up where you can ask your question. Get in early. It's more likely that we can find a good answer for you. But sometimes we aren't able to, in which case you can ask again if you like. We'll try again. Or we'll let you know why.
Exactly. We cannot answer everything, but yeah, we tried. So, first question, and if you hear thunder rolling in the background, please ping me because I don't know how the mic is picking this up, but the next thunderstorm is incoming, and I hope
it's okay. I've got a lawnmower.
So, Dave Danger wants to know: is there any update on the MMS difficulties on the Pixel 3a?
Usually, we won't answer questions about bugs on devices, but in this case, it makes sense because I want you to help me. There is a pull request, well, several pull requests to make the MMS subsystem on Ubuntu Touch better. This was done by Lionel D. and Jacek. This is a very large change that needs to be tested very well, and it's to several different components in Ubuntu Touch. So we need your help to test it. I put a forum link in the live chat now. I'll remember to put it in the description below if you aren't listening live. But you can see the instructions in this forum post on how to get testing this so that you can see if you can receive and send it MMS and help the authors out. It's really important to us that this is well tested because it is huge. It touches a lot of code. And we don't want to break anything for existing users that wasn't broken before.
That's right.
Pavoke has a question this week. With the new Anbox only supporting Halium 9 devices, Anbox being a way to run Android applications on Ubuntu Touch, new Anbox having a different name that I forget, Waydroid now, only supports Halium 9 devices. So are there plans to upgrade some supported Halium 7 devices that on the Android 9 would also support Android 9? The older OnePlus devices, for example.
Well, I wouldn't call it plans, Phil, maybe. But so first of all, you remember the good old story of upgrading Nexus 5, OnePlus One, Fairphone 2 to Halium 7.1. The Fairphone 2 and the OnePlus One are basically fine with this Halium channel. I got a lot of positive feedback, so I assume we can let them go out in one of the next updates. Nexus 5, however, still has some weird regressions, and I have to find time to look into this. There's also some PR waiting for me to be finally cherry-picked, merged, whatsoever. But the idea that came to my mind when I looked at that question was, maybe because Nexus 5 is our most used device and we want to be very stable with that, maybe we want to give it a little bit more time and also try out if we could bump it to Halium 9. Because I assume that the Nexus 5 would be that device of those three that is most easily ported with Halium 9. It could be. However, we need a little bit of support for that because, in the core team, nobody has really time to make an experiment. If somebody feels inclined to try out that, you can have the full support from our side. And we could say yes when the Nexus 5 could do this. Then, of course, the new Nbox would also run on that device probably. However, there is one catch with it. We are not building 32-bit images now for Android 9, right? So there's something with the root FS that we would need to ship before, or would enable to have a build for that before. And I'm not sure if that will gonna work out pretty well, but we have to try. If we want to go that route, we need to make a few preconditions ready. But yes, technically it's possible, and maybe it gives some benefit. I don't know. Somebody would need to spike that.
And if we aren't even talking that old, but like the OnePlus 3 or OnePlus 3T, again, we need people's help with this stuff. It's not something that me or Florian are able to do. And the original device porters are busy too. So we need some help here. If you want to see the possibility, depending on how Waydroid actually works out, if you want to see the possibility of that stuff, you gotta join in and help us out here.
I'm just making a small demo here. That one not. Jesus. What's that kind of a stack?
Language. How can people help with that? Well, you can join us at UBports Porting on Telegram. There's, oh my goodness, that's a lot of devices. There's a lot going on. docs.ubports.com/porting will have information on porting Halium 9 devices soon. It's the same process as any other device. You're basically restarting from the beginning. You know, these devices have Android 7 ports. You start again and make an Android 9 port.
There is one thing about if it's for the OnePlus 1 and Fairphone 2, because the jump from Halium 7.1 to Halium 9 is not that big. You still have to apply all the patches that are on the 7.1 already, but at least it's not the jump as from the legacy ports to Halium. So it should be a little bit easier, though of course there's no warranty.
We aren't building a root file system that supports them. So
yes,
double-edged
that's
sword.
the 32-bit thing is a thing that we have to discuss internally before it doesn't make sense to start on it.
Yep.
And I had accidentally took a BQ into that stack, so it's -1 dead. What's here on my table?
Oh.
Okay, and you can also take my daily driver off that list, but still I'm trying to also fix up on the Nexus 6P stuff as I go. For example, the speakerphone was working so nicely already until we reverted your patch, Don. I need this
Wasn't my
back.
patch, and it broke too many Android 9 stuff. You fix that, you can have the patch back.
How can people
what's
help?
up next?
It's a good question. How can people help? Let's come back to this in a minute. You basically answered it already. Right?
Yeah.
I was too busy with my device stack, sorry. Okay, in the OTA 18 changelog, Wayland support was mentioned. Does it mean we can run now Wayland apps on Android-based devices? Finally!
No.
Oh.
There are still more changes that need to be done to run applications using Wayland on Mirror Server on Android devices.
Yeah.
It's something that's definitely going to be fixed for 2004, but some issues were found in the patches. They were found to be incomplete, so they have to be redone. And these are, of course, patches that enable things like Waydroid. So this stuff will have to be redone. It just has to be before some of this stuff gets in.
Also, one small note for new Nbox, that's also a blocker. We cannot, because people are asking, how can I install a new Nbox now on my Helium 9 device? Basically, you cannot, because you're missing a lot of stuff in the root file system to support it as a Wayland protocol client.
Right, there aren't installation instructions yet, but there will be as soon as it's possible.
Good.
UB Newbie had a question. That does rhyme. I've been following the development of the Pro 1X smartphone, which is an ongoing Indiegogo campaign. In their recent update, they said their developers have made great headway with OS development for Ubuntu Touch, but didn't really get the specifics. I was just curious if this is something you are involved in at all, or if you have any details about what kind of development they're alluding to.
Well, I can just say that from the official side, so I'm now putting on my foundation hat again. For officially, there is of course a relation to FX Tech, and there were some questions around over time, but there is not a situation where we are developing for them anything at the moment. So I also don't know about the great headway that they're speaking here. I would love to see. I might ping them up and ask, hey guys, what's up? What's your greatest developments? Maybe we can make a joint, call or so, or we can even pull them on a Q&A if they like, to show off what they have. It would be interesting. Yeah. But it's not that we are working on that, because as we always say at the current situation, we are fully focused on 2004 and the core team has no time left for external ports and stuff. Yeah, but it's perfectly possible that they made a great headway and maybe the device is getting more and more stable. But yeah, maybe they would like to show it off. I don't know. That could be something for an upcoming Q&A.
In the rest of their update, they talk about getting the hardware finalized and using, reference devices and stuff. So it won't be on the Pro 1X yet. Because, of course, the Pro 1X was completely redesigned after Qualcomm stopped selling their chip. So getting that hardware out is going to be a good first step for the OS development. But as of right now, we don't have much further information. If you want to ask them about it too, that'd be cool. They're the right people to contact about what's going on with their project here.
Right. Okay, free T.
I already answered this. I already answered this. Edit. Yeah,
true. Well,
okay. Do you see anything else that you want to answer in live chat? Is Florian a full stack developer?
No, at least, I mean, it's perfect. It's a perfect pun on that stack, of course. Yeah, that's my full stack. You're right, Ian. If you're really on a serious note, I know I have to reject the phrase full stack developer. I'm really not liking that thing, because it's always attributing people that can do graphics design, UX, product ownership, and coding and testing, maybe even in one person, and that almost always goes bad. So don't try to be a full stack developer. Try to specialize yourself a bit here or there. And
Florian's career advice.
Yeah, no, really, full stack developer don't exist for me. Yeah, that's
okay.
Very
well,
strange.
I'm sure you will enjoy your Twitter tonight.
Absolutely, I can stand this. Any questions from the supergroup? Oh, I didn't call it supergroup for a long time.
Oof.
Those
I don't think so.
days. No.
All right.
Good.
Well, that should about do it for today then, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hey, if you liked what we were talking about and want to see if your device is supported by Ubuntu Touch, you can head over to devices.ubuntu-touch.io. If your device isn't on the list, it's going to need a custom image made for it. You can go to the porting documentation at docs.ubports.com/porting to learn more. Hey, if you want to find us on all sorts of social networks throughout the interwebs, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Or if you want our news directly in your chat client, we've got a Telegram news channel. We kind of post some things there every now and again if you want to stay up to date with us. It's pretty cool. You can find links to all of that in the description. And if you want to chat with us, you can find us on Matrix or Telegram at UBports, #UBports in the other order. Or our forum for longer form content over at forums.ubports.com. Hey, there's Lucas. Hi, Lucas. Pine64. He's here. Anyway, thank you everyone so much for joining us. Thank you as well, Lucas. And we will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.